Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Lots of people out and about today, so I've tried to venture a bit deeper into the woods. Just passed by some weed smoking youth trying to hide here, and now hopefully I found some privacy for us to have a long, intimate talk. Today we're going to be talking about shadow work and the Solar Knight and the Lunar Knight. It's a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Still, I'm not really sure what will come out of me today, but look, all my videos that I put out, of course, I do that because I think they'll be helpful to someone, but sometimes you have to take into consideration, what topics interest people, what will people click, what will draw in new people to the channel, and so on. Well, today, there's none of that. This is just for you that's already here. Of course, if someone by some miracle this is the first video of mine that you happen to see, of course you're welcome too, but what I'm saying is I know that you guys that are already here, you're ready for this kind of message. There's been an influx lately to the channel, and several guys have independently of each other mentioned even the word shadow work, and so I'm stoked because, well, it's not fun, but it's interesting and important. If you've been starting to think about shadow work, it means that you started to see things that before you were unable to see, okay? So, the Solar Knight was a concept I coined 2 summers ago. It was actually my friend Sim that came up with the actual title, Solar Knight, or name. There is a podcast with the two of us on this channel. I'll link it in the description. It's a great one, long, very informative. But both me and Sim are big on states, as in state of being, because we've observed throughout our lives that, hey, I can really just be different at different times. I can feel differently, and it's what I'm capable of, how I function is very dependent on my state. The world is not really as it is as you are. If you feel just misery, dread, horror, chaos, pain inside you, that's what you're going to see in the world. You're going to project that onto the world, and that's the energy you're going to be putting out to the world, okay? While when you're vibing on those highest frequencies of love and enlightenment, you love yourself, you love everything in life, you have great energy, and so that's what you see. That's what you focus on in the world, and that's the energy you spread out. That's what you wish for other people, because you think that you deserve to be loved. So of course, just as the same way, when you hate yourself and you project it onto others, when you love yourself, you do the same. All right. So for me, it was just really like the concept of the Solar Knight, because we're talking about that. When I say it's not just hippie talk, about vibing on high frequencies of love and enlightenment, it's an actual thing. Just go Google emotion frequency chart or something like that, and you'll see what I mean. It's an actual state, state of being, these different frequencies. But so we're talking about when you're not like vibing on those highest frequencies, how you just have such a positive effect on everything around you. It's magical, because it's not just that I have more to bring now because I have higher energy and I feel better. It's like really just standing around, people will smile more at you, more animals will come to greet you, everything. It's crazy. But what I just figured is that, look, I love the way I can be in that state, but it's Solar Knight. It can't just be like, this describing what I am, what I'm feeling great, It has to be an ideal to strive for, independent of how you feel, right? So the Solar Knight sort of just became an ideal to strive for, what a man should be. The Chad personified, and like the actual Chad, not these pretend Chads that there are so many of these days, that are more reminiscent of like a little boy that tries to be really loud to get attention. Look at me, my big loud cars, and look, all the women, all the Instagram women I have, or whatever, and money. I'm angry. I make all this noise. I'm a man. But you're really like a little boy that said, look at me, I'm a man. No, the actual man, like just a strong, good leader, right? And so the Solar Knight, because you want to be what the sun is to the earth, you want to be to your surrounding, right? When people are cold, you bring them warmth. When they can't see because it's dark, you shine a light onto them. You give life, just like the sun does to the earth, right? being a good strong man, like maybe the good strong man is this pretend Chad that I was talking about. Maybe the Solar Knight can be loud when he has to be, and all that stuff, but it's really about being good, and not just, not in this like, look at me, I'm such a good boy. No, you help the old lady cross the street even when no one can see how good you are right now. You pick out the trash when you do the right thing when no one's around to see. It's a way of being, right? But still, though, if we make this an ideal instead of just describing how it's easy to be when you're feeling great, it's still way easier to do all those things when you're vibing on those highest frequencies. And so I, of course, came up with this when I was feeling great in life. Long story short, I moved to Greece, things are going great. Then some really unfortunate things happen with me and the girl that I love. Suddenly, I go from here on the frequency chart to the bottom. I'm now vibing just on these lowest frequencies of shame and guilt. I'm feeling absolutely horrible. And you guys that already followed me back then, you may have noticed that I talked quite a bit about the Solar Knight for a while, and then complete silence. And there were some people in my life that they even got to know me kind of as the Solar Knight, in a sense. In Greece, coming to a new country, wearing shirts even as a Solar Knight. But I was so ashamed then, because I couldn't be. I felt I couldn't be what I was supposed to be. The Solar Knight, I had no light to shine on anyone. I felt like all I feel and experience is darkness. And I have deep shame about that, because I have an autistic brother, and I was always kind of told, long story short, it was very difficult, and I had to put up with a lot of not fair stuff. We fought a lot, like physically, like of course siblings do, but over very unfair things. And it's very much me trying to always, even when it's very difficult, I have to try to sort this, and I'm always told that, you can't get angry and that because you're the kind of the strong one. He doesn't understand like you. So pretty much I've learned to associate that me not feeling good, I'm failing. I'm not lovable. When I'm not feeling good, it's shameful for me to struggle and have a tough time. And so even more so when I feel, because that's kind of what my upbringing has made me. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to be the stronger one. Other people struggle. Well, I struggle too, but I'm stronger, so that shouldn't really matter. And if I make it matter somehow, it's shameful. I'm failing now. So the whole Solar Knight thing, I didn't want to know anything about it anymore at the time, because I felt like I'm just completely failing at that. And the people that would refer to me like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling so fucking shit. But, well, the point I want to make really, what I learned last year, is that it's a lesson I have to learn over and over again, that, well, that you're not supposed to, like the Solar Knight is an ideal to strive for, but it's an ideal, it's not something you're supposed to be able to, you're not supposed to be able to be your best at all times. And one reason I've had to learn this lesson again as the kind of born again Theo, even after I went through all those panic attacks and changed my life, is that, the way I felt when I came out on the other side of that, I had never felt so great before. So if I understood that, my development as a person isn't over, and there will be tragedies in life and stuff, I somehow thought kind of that, but I figured out pretty much the mental health, so I'll never feel bad like that again. I had to learn many times over that's really not true. But something I've also been working on a lot, that, this video is shadow work in a sense for me, but it's still quite not. But I'm gonna get to that. But people think that I'm like vulnerable and brave, and I can share so much about me and what's going on with me and that. The thing is, I think it's very easy to do mostly when I'm not talking about my current self. I used to be that, or I was even if I'm talking about something more recent. If I'm talking about a year ago when I was feeling shit, it's not the same as telling you right now I'm feeling shit. I still have that deep shame about it, as if it's not okay, And that's something I'm really working on. That's what I mean. I'm sort of doing shadow work with a video like that. And I want to, of course, we wish we could feel great all the time and be our best all the time. It's not realistic though. That life doesn't work like that. There are ups and downs, yin and yang, contraction, expansion, breathe in, breathe out. It just works like that. And it's about both raising. Of course, you expand in an expansion state. You can learn, you can give it your all, but you're raising your lowest level. It's not about removing the downs. It's about improving how you deal with them. Maybe make them happen less often if you can, and that they are shorter, but that also that you are more capable of going through them. And something I just want to do, something because I think it's admirable to be able to talk about your pain, not as someone playing the martyr, oh look at me, poor me, oh it's so tough for me all the time, but someone that can just be open about the fact that I'm in fucking pain now and it's not easy. But so last entire year I'm in this battle with myself, I'm also so stressed out. I feel like I should be doing more. I need to be working harder. Money, success. Not just for money, but for money. But the channel needs to grow. I need to do this. All these things, all your deep things. That of course you need money to pay for stuff like that. But I'm sorry if the video is a little messy, guys. It's just off the top of my head. But these things you picked up from childhood, and that the things that you feel a lot of pressure on yourself, and that you are not lovable if you do this, you suck if you don't do this, and I put so much pressure on myself when I'm feeling shit and can't do as much as I can that I'm supposed to, and it becomes this vicious cycle of a meme that really resonated with me is like, I need to work harder, first like figure says, and someone else shows up and says like, rest is important too. And the first figure says like, that's right. How come I'm so bad at both? Right? Because that's what happens when you are in a state when you just can't do as much as you could at other times. And you literally can't. You try and try, but you can't. And then, so you're gonna end up doing less, but you can't, like, enjoy is the wrong word, but you can't fully rest because your mind is always telling you that you're fucking up. That you should be doing more. So even when you're doing less, you're not even resting. So I started realizing that part of being the Solar Knight is that you have to be the Lunar Knight. I mean, the Solar Knight is the ideal you strive for all the time, but like when you really are it, when you just are the ideal personified, you can't be that all the time. Aspect of it is sometimes you have to go into the dark and face your shadow, and it's the darkest before the dawn, right? Like, in order for light for us to even have the experience of light, there has to be darkness. You have to find the light in the dark. So a lot last year, a lot of the work on myself, apart from figuring out all these kinds of things, I mean, I'm not going to talk about every single aspect of me, abandonment issues, people-pleasing issues, these things that no one wants to identify with that they have, and you shouldn't really identify with that being you, because it's not, but it's more like a wound you have, injury you have, all this stuff. But one big thing for me last year was just telling myself that it is okay. Yeah, I'm definitely not where I want to be yet with career, money, other things, that I want to accomplish. I wish I could just go full on it right now, but sometimes you have to be like the arrow being pulled back on the bow. You pulling back until you can eventually, like that. And so last year was really, what I've been doing on this channel, but in my life, ever since I that panic attack phase, is really shadow work. It's just I wasn't familiar with the concept of work. But last year was when I did it more like actively, really, really looking at myself, my patterns. Why did I end up here? How come I feel like this? What stories, deep stories exist within me that make me feel this way, blah, 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 all these questions. And the biggest work for me was to actually allow myself to do less, even when I felt like what I really should be doing is doing more. And lo and behold, the more I just let things be and could actually rest, not happy about it, but like just not shutting down that voice that's telling me that I suck if I just rest and do unproductive things, the more I actually rested and came to terms with things. And we can fast forward a little bit. I'm just right now, I am in a sort of solar night phase of my life again. That being said, I think about this with states as both sort of long-term state and short-term state. Like you can have a period in your life that's really good, but then you have some days that are tougher. But that kind of toughness is not this extreme heaviness. You can just feel like, I'm a little low today, you know. And then you can have the opposite, that you have these long term, you just know you're gonna feel depressed from the moment you wake up. Probably not gonna go out of bed even, but maybe here and there you have a day when the sun shines a little bit more, metaphorically. It helps if it shines for real too. But yeah, so today I had sort of a, you know, because because of all the work I've done, I'm just so happy about the contrast to how I was feeling 1 year ago, absolutely miserable. And I'm enjoying a lot of good things in my life. Like the growth of the channel recently, and just the response from you guys has been, wow, it means a lot to me. I'm extremely happy about all of that. At the same time, there are some quite difficult things going on in my life that I don't have to share too many details about right now. But definitely, I've been crying days recently. That's another video, you know, about because that's something I've really become. I mean, I think I've mastered emotions quite well for a long time, but really the last year, emotional mastery is something. And I noticed that, you know, crying and being sad is not the same as being depressed. Depressed is really, now we're talking about these lowest frequencies: shame, guilt, dread, just apathy, you know. Being sad is just, you think something is really sad, you know. And there are some quite sad things going on in my life. And this morning when I woke up, I just did, it was, you know, things were just heavy on me. And I feel like stuff is empty. Even this, I just said that I'm happy about the growth of the channel and the influx of you guys lately and that. I think of it, but right then I just can't. I mean, I know this is a good thing. I just can't experience it right now. Every just thing just feels like that. And I go to the gym. The music in there, you know, this terrible music. This reminds me of all the toxicity in the world. This music with all these themes, really brainwashing themes of people in different toxic loops of love, you know. And the darkness of the world is just really heavy on me. But then, even my workouts that I mostly just love and look forward to doing, even today, even though my body was in good shape, I just felt resistance about doing it. But so first of all, I do my workout, make myself proud in a sense, because I'm performing well even when I didn't feel much like doing it. And then what I will do is also, because I talked about how it's easy to be the Solar Knight when that's what you feel, that's what you are, you know. But you know, you have to give away what you want to have. What you want to have for yourself, even happiness, you have to give it away first, not to get something back. This again, this kind of thing. You can be aware that it works this way, but it can't be the reason. You can't just do nice things because you hope for something good for you. But you can just be aware that that's how it works. So I make an effort, you know. I don't feel like talking to anyone today, but just a woman in the gym that's been nice to me before. I just went out of my way to catch her attention and you know, wish her a nice day as I went from there. And then I go to pick up some food. My favorite cashier is there, a little older Iranian lady. Side note for those kinds of guys, yeah, I'm not happy about the mass immigration situation in Sweden. Doesn't take away from all kinds of individuals being, you know, they can be nice people. So this nice lady, she asked me how I am. I say that I'm happy now that I see you, you know. And she laughs and like, oh, that's so nice, you know. And you know, all of a sudden, I'm taking little actions like this. I find myself feeling a lot better. And there's really no exact endpoint, no exact message I try to get across in this video. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That just random rant like this, or rant even, you know, monologue. That we're not supposed to be our best all the time. That's okay, but we can have something to strive for, right? The Lunar Knight, when that's what you feel like, he's aware though that the Solar Knight is what he strives to be, and it's okay, you know. Like, even it's not, if you feel that fucking introverted out of your depression, you know, that you barely have the energy to talk to anyone, it's not that you're a bad person if you don't, you know, do the things that I said today. Just be a little nice to people around me, but you should take your chances, you know. It means so much. Maybe you know yourself when you're feeling like that, and someone, you just notice that someone really just wanted to do something nice for me. It means a lot. You have to give it to. And this is a huge message on this channel, well, guys, but you guy too. I'm gonna do that video to just be a good person. You know that everything in the world would be alright if everyone just tried to be a good person. But a lot of people have, of course, given up. No, the world is just hell. All these bad things that happened to me, that happened to me, and other people, and they're not. Well, why should I be nice? No one else is nice. You know, no one wants to see their role in their own suffering. Because that's something I should have talked about before, because with the shadow work in that, it's not fun having to watch yourself in so many, you know, because a lot in this life is unfair and it's not your fault and that, but the constant in every situation in your life is you know, and many times it's like, you know, if people use you feel like people always use from you, you always give more than you get back. Yeah, well, those people are assholes. But it doesn't change the fact that you're a problem, part of the problem. You're letting these people use you over and over, you know. I wish I said that earlier in the video, but the point is really that a lot of people, they just assume, I am the way I am, everything is the way it is, I'm not gonna do anything to improve. Well, everything bad in my life is not really my fault anyway. And there's no point, why should I be good when no one else is? Well, because it's the right thing to do. And if everyone thought like this asshole person I just described, the world would be even worse off. And if everyone thought the way I'm telling you to think right now, we'd be like colonizing space, if space is indeed real. But you see what I'm saying? We would have paradise on Earth if everyone just tried to be a good person. And yeah, guys, this is where God comes in, you know. Because, of course, if you're a nihilist and think this is all just kind of a, you know, you feel like that you're losing out when you're trying to be good and other people just use you or whatever. But, of course, if you believe that there is an objective right and wrong, guess how you win the game of life? By doing the right thing, no matter what. So, I hope this video was okay. I can't even remember what I've been talking about more than broadly, because it is just off the top of my head. I'm gonna do shorter videos too, guys. Not just, I know some people really enjoy the longer monologue. It's always monologues. You know, the longer, more random, just going wherever the monologue takes me. And so, some people like the shorter, never super concise. I just can't bring myself to not make complex points about things. Now I want to start explaining that too. But you see, I'm gonna do shorter videos, like even things I talked about in this video. I'm gonna divide a little bit, but I've been wanting to do this like story time kind of thing about the Solar Knight and the Lunar Knight for quite some time. So please comment, tell me your stories, just what came to mind for you, whatever, really. Like, just comment. I want to hear it, and it does help the channel. Please like. I do holistic bodybuilding coaching. It's not just work on the body, guys. It's just an important tool, but it is shadow work too. We work on ourselves holistically. Okay, we want to improve on every level. And please subscribe for more. Well, I have a Patreon, and you can become a member of the channel too. I should mention that. But please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. We want to be the Solar Knight, but in order to be the Solar Knight, sometimes we have to be the Lunar Knight as well.